it. Oh my gosh. They better have some pickles at your cookout, I'm telling you.
That's why I know where these seeds. It is. You know, sunflower seed cute. They ain't how you eat sunflower seeds.
How you eat it? She gonna say that ain't how you eat sunflower seeds. What?
So cute. You put like 3 or 4 in your mouth at one time.
Okay, Miss Professional. Oh wow, you doing it? Wow. Oh, how the freak? I can't do all that.
Good.
Yeah, they are good. These are barbecue. I like the sauce on.
I like when
I enjoy my sister. My sister's so freaking cute.
Okay, keep talking.
Be good dream. Strawberry shortcake. I think I made it too big. Vanilla cake with strawberries inside. It's good. Oh, you staring at that?
She's right there.
Right where? Right there.
Right there.
Hey, girl.
400.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. La 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 la. Oh la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Dum da 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 da. Ah.
Some frozen ice pop. Ponytail is so cute. I don't want to feel bad that I gotta tease her ponytail, but I can't wait to taste it. Oh my god, such an inspiration. She is such an inspiration, yeah. God. Girl, I love the girl. Girl, you slay. You're too cute. That's how you feel when you finally get to the freaking gun. Hi, hello lights. I decided to tell my story today, and I feel good about it this morning. I feel like I'm going to be able to tell the story and get through the story easily. So I just went to McDonald's and got me a mocha frappe. You know, it's just something about the frappes that make you feel so good and just make you feel happy inside. I guess that would be the word. So yeah, so today I'm just kind of parked in a parking lot You know I'm in the city of Houston, so you're going to hear probably all kinds of background sounds. And this will be a ASMR soft speaking story time. I recently started experiencing memories and little weird things just would happen. And when these memories started coming up, it started putting me in kind of a state of mind of feeling a little down, a little sad, and sometimes stuck. And I felt like I could not move forward. So I'm going to start where the memories started triggering. Me and my daughter, at times, we go to a place that is called Divine Light, where you receive spiritual light, from others. And it's basically when um, they basically hold their hand up to different parts of your body, and it just kind of let the light come through their hands to your body. And it's basically for spiritual healing, to help you sleep, to help your organs heal. It's basically a spiritual type thing. So, and whenever I go, I just spiritually feel so much lighter. I feel like it just gave me one more step closer to God. It just made me feel like clarity. That's the word, clarity. Every time I get divine light. So this one particular incident, usually when I go get divine light, I don't even really see my daughter. She goes one way, I goes another way. And this particular time, we actually was in the same area where we could see each other. We was actually almost right next to each other. And because of that, I kind of focused on her receiving her divine light, and it just had my attention. It just kind of put me at an ease and a real peaceful state of mind. So when I went to go close my eyes and try to relax and just receive my light, I heard my name called clear as day. Now, I knew all of the people that be at Divine Light that day. I know all of their voices. I know who all they are. This voice did not belong to anyone there. And the voice, I was just sitting in a chair, and I basically had my hands in my lap like this. And you kind of keep your hands open because you don't want your hands closed, because it's basically you want to receive. So my hands were open, and I was just basically like this. And from this side of the room, and it wasn't like it came up to me and it was just like saying my name. It was just like all around me on this side, And all of a sudden I heard someone say, Juanita. And it was just like this, Juanita. And so, I'm like this. So when I heard my name, I was like this. I was looking around, and every single person that was there receiving a light had their eyes closed. My eyes were the only one open, and I couldn't close my eyes anymore because I know that someone just called my name. And I was so kind of like mesmerized by it. It was just like, what the freak just happened? Basically for me. And after everyone received their light and it was over with, I was kind of like quiet. I couldn't say anything, you know? And one of the gentlemen came up to me and he said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." "You want to talk?" I said, No. No, I'm just ready to go." So I told my daughter, I said, "Come on, let's go." She said, "Mom, normally you talk to everybody after divine light. You didn't talk to nobody this time. What's the matter?" And I said, "Well, Nadine, I heard someone call my name. And it was real loud." I said, "Did you hear anybody say my name?" She said, "No." I said, "It was really, really loud and clear as day." And she says, "Wow, really?" I said, "Yeah." So I told my daughter, I said, "You know what? That's it." Y'all hear this little kid over here singing. He really singing.
Hello. Hey, what's going on? Hello. Hey, what's going on? It's Dream XL, and welcome back to the ASMR Dream Chill show, where I'll be doing ASMR, and I'm your host. Hey. Alright, so today I'm gonna be eating, looks like some chicken rollers from Taco Cabana. I can't wait to take it. I'm hungry too, man. And I also got oh, look at that. A tender juicy steak right there. Wow. Got some queso, but that's not it. Got a fat burrito to go with it. Oh, it's falling apart. Oh, man. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, that's the thumbnail. There we go. Nah, I'm joking. That might be a thumbnail. I don't know. But anyway, we got some chicken out. My mouth is watering. We got some chicken feta, some lettuce, black beans, all that stuff. I just said throw it in there. You know what I'm saying? Look at the size of this thing. Oh man, that's crazy. Alright, I'm gonna set that right here. Boom. Look at that right there. Bring that back over here. I'm ready to dig in. Let's do it. Somebody text. Don't you hate that? Every time you about to eat, somebody texting your phone. I'm gonna take let's see. Somebody was kind enough to give me some spicy ranch. Hey, I highly recommend this. If you go to Taco Cabana, you gotta get you some spicy ranch. It's amazing. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw that all on the actually, hold up. Y'all don't wanna see my face too much. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the camera in so you can really see this food. Let me know if you like this camera view or if you want to see more of my face when I eat the food. I don't know. I'm kind of new to this. I mean, I've been doing it with my mom for a long time, but this is, my channel now, so I don't know. Let's do it, man. Let's just go ahead and open this up. ASMR song for my mom's channel, ASMR The Chew. Will also be releasing soon. So go follow me on IG at DreamXOOX. That's DreamXOOX. Go do that right now. Watch the video first. Oh, these chicken rollers right here. I'm gonna dip that in a little bit up. Okay, so. Oh, look at that. This is nice for me. Look at mom, look at me in the gym with the ice and the water. Damn, you're drinking that.
I don't put aside all of my other videos so that I can go ahead and get this video out because it was requested that for part 2 too many times by too many likes. So here I am with part 2. Okay, let me get right into first saying, if you haven't seen part 1, please go watch part 1 too. My son was murdered, because this is part 2, and I'm just going to go ahead and start where I left off in part 1. Now, keep in mind again that I was 19 years old when everything that happened to me in part 1. Okay? Now, so at the end, I told you that my mother came to the hospital, and when I woke up, she was basically sitting there and she was holding my hand. And I was not that happy to exactly see her. As a matter of fact, I didn't even want to hear anything that she really had to say. I just wanted her to be able to take care of my daughter while I was in the hospital. And once I got out the hospital, I had planned on picking up my daughter, and basically that would be it. I didn't really have no plans on having anything to do with my mom at the time. I was really sad. I was really angry. I was really confused. And and trying to fix my relationship with my mother at that time was not first on my mind anymore. Okay? So she told me, she says, okay, you've been in this hospital too long. Okay? You're strong. You can handle what happened to you. She said, I need you to get out of this bed because you have a daughter that needs you, okay? And you have a husband that is suffering just as much as you are. Now, at that moment, I was thinking to myself, does she realize what happened to me? What I've been through? I was hurt that this man, 1, put his hands on me. 2, he was cheating. 3, we lost our son because of his bad behavior. So for her to tell me that, oh, you have a husband, I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm done with her. Like, don't say nothing else to me. Get out my face. I don't want to talk to you. But you know what? What stopped me from telling my mother off at the time? My mouth was wide shut. I had wires all up in my mouth. My face was swelling. And in my opinion, I didn't look like the same person. So she said to me, she says, I'm going to take you home. I'm signing you out of this hospital, and I'm going to take you home. Now, at the time, when she came to the hospital, I did not know. Like, I knew that I've been through a lot. I had found out that the hospital wanted to give me a blood transfusion, and my mom would not sign off on it. At the time, I guess they needed another family member, someone. So at the time, my mom, I did not know that I needed a blood transfusion, and that is one of the reasons why I stayed in the hospital so long, is because at the time the AIDS epidemic was going on, and my mom was not comfortable with signing for me to get a blood transfusion. I had found out that my mom had been coming to the hospital quite often as long as I was in there, and I guess that she was just fed up, so she just decided that she would talk to me because she knew, my mom knew that I was definitely still hurt and upset by her. So just as much as I didn't want to talk to her, I'm sure my mother wasn't ready to talk to me as well. But, you know, she did show up when I needed her, probably the most in my life at that time. So she told me, she says, listen, you're strong. You can do this. okay? And I just basically, I couldn't tell her off. I couldn't really tell her how I felt. I just was laying there, and at the time, I was not crying. I was not like filled with tears. I was just ghost like. I was just like lost, lost in my soul. Like I just felt like somebody ripped my spirit from me. And that's how I felt at the time. And my mom said to me, "You have a daughter that needs you. You've got to get up this bed." And then she said to me, "Your son hasn't even been buried." And I remember at that moment, I was looking at her like, what? She said, "You have to give your son a funeral." And that didn't even come to my mind. I don't even remember anyone saying to me that I needed to bury my son. And she said, "I'm going to make all the arrangements. All I need you to do is get out this bed so that you can go to your son's funeral." At the time, I didn't think that I would be strong enough to do something like that. And I remember my mom basically, I remember going home with my mom from the hospital, and I remember her talking to me. Everything was so echoey, like I couldn't grasp a full sentence or conversation. And all I remember is she showed me a dress, and it was pretty. It was a all black dress with a cream like shawl on the top of it, and it had like little triangles cut into it with tiny little beads all in each of the triangles. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, that dress is really pretty. She said, "This is one of my best dress, and this is the dress you're going to wear to the funeral." And I remember my mom brushing my hair, putting my hair in a ponytail. I remember her helping me get my shoes on and helping me put the dress on. I was so dazed out. I seemed to couldn't grasp back on to reality. And I remember going to the funeral, and it was so many people there. It was old friends, new friends, some family members. And in my mind, I literally was thinking, who comes to a funeral of a baby? A baby that only lived a few hours. That's what I was thinking. It just wasn't hitting me in my mind that you give a funeral for a baby that did not make it, no longer than a day. But it was a lot of people there. Now, my mom, she carried on the conversation. She did all the talking. She was there for me. Sorry, you guys, I live in Houston. And she told me, she says, "Let's go up to the casket. You can say your goodbyes." And the casket, you guys, was no bigger than this. It was this small. And it was white. It had blue lining inside of it. When I got up to the casket, my son was laying there like, he was so tiny, but he looked like a little man, And my mom, I don't know how she did it, but he didn't have on, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. Okay. He didn't. There you go. I'm so sorry, God. Okay. I gotta get through this story. This is part 2, and part 2 is not like part 1. I could get through this story, okay?